All right, beautiful beings. I'm Mr. Joshua Finch, and I'm going to teach you some cool stuff how to draw. Let's get ready. So I always draw with markers because I want to see my mistakes. Because if you didn't know, mistakes help show where you need to go. Mistakes help show where you need to go. So I use my markers, and I use a light marker, a gray marker, and a gray marker is first. And I like to kind of practice making some circles like this. I'm going to give an example of what I mean by my gray marker first. And then once I've done my gray marker, if I like something but something didn't work, well, when I come back in with my black marker, it changes it a little, but see how there's just a little bit of gray? Now that makes it look like a shadow. So that's really cool too. But let's say like I did some hair and I stopped right there, and that's a skinny line, and that's not very confident there. It's kind of round there, not so pointy. Well, then when I come back in with my black, I can kind of fix it a little. So it does help us so we don't get so angry at ourselves, just in case. So that way we could be like, oh, that wasn't a big deal. Right? That wasn't too big of a deal. It wasn't that bad. And the grays help us make our cartoons a little better. So like maybe she was like, oh, it's not that, you don't have to be that mad. It's okay. And over here, he's like, oh, well, I already knew that. Like, come on, dude. Like, I already knew how to do what you're talking about. Like, what is going on here? So now look, I got all these lines right here. And now instead of doing all these lines, maybe I only want to use this line. But you see, I got that shadow there. That's totally okay. And that line there. And then the hat, I only want that line. And maybe just that line. Now you can see how my lines now made it look a little better. And then maybe even I use some of this for the shadow to make it look a little cooler. Because like shadows are going to help us. Like if this was just a floating head, it could be floating above the ground there. And then we could like add in like the background. You could see how it kind of floats now. Right? So there's all different types of things that we can learn is by not really being afraid. So what I really want to do is help you build your confidence, so that way you could just have a lot of fun drawing. So we want to really get your lines to be confident. So as you see me kind of do this, you don't really see me do this. I really see how it doesn't really look like I'm that confident. It's still kind of has the same feeling as that. Like it still has the same thing, but it's not quite as crispy and as confident. One of my good friends and one of the best artists in the world I call her P for short. She would always have these really crispy lines because she learned from her dad since she was 2. And I really loved that. And I learned a lot about her. And I made my lines super crispy, right? Because that's sketchy. That's sketchy and wobbly. And there's actually a really cool style. One of my favorite students, her style is very sketchy. So you can see her style is super, super sketchy. But her whole style, she never does it different. She always does sketchy. So that's her style. This has a little bit sketchy lines on it, but it's still really nice. This still has some of those sketchy, but it's a little bit of confidence. But you can see, like, if I had my turtle, those lines are really confident. So what we want to do is we want to get you to feel confident and help you see your mistakes as something that's going to help you grow. So that's a little explanation of how we're going to be using our markers.